I was 5. Kindergarten. I remember like it was yesterday. It's amazing how, you don't forget these memories when you were a kid. One time my mom was gone for days, and it was picture day at school. And I came home early in the morning and she passed out. She's been gone for maybe like 3 days. And I knew it was picture day. I didn't want to miss the picture day. And it was, I did my own hair. I did my hair in 2 pigtails, one green, one yellow. And I walked to school by myself. And I didn't make sure I missed that picture day. I get so angry and I'm like, Mom, I could have been kidnapped. I couldn't have not made it home. I walk to school by myself. I have to follow other kids, parents, just to walk behind them to make it home okay. So it was really, I was pretty much left alone. My dad is an immigrant from El Salvador. My mother came from Cambodia. She was leaving the war there. He was leaving the war there. So they were, pretty traumatized. My dad would wake up in sweats. He'll drink all the time. My mom, she'll wake up at 3 o'clock every night just to make sure her kids were still in bed. Because kids back in Cambodia would get, kidnapped and sold into prostitution also at a young age. So she was always worried that somebody was going to come and take us or something. So I think my sense of survival started at a very young age, because I didn't have anything. I didn't have anyone to take care of me. I had to always go out and get it on my own to survive. And that's when I just completely rebelled. I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to listen. I started getting high, I started smoking weed. I started drinking. I hung out with the bad crowd. It was around Halloween. After a little bit, after I turned 12, that's when I really was out for, I didn't come home at all. I was gone. I didn't come home at all. And I was at somebody's hotel room, and we all was just drinking and stuff, and then I met this guy and I left with him, and he was from the East Bay, so we hung out. I stayed with him for weeks. He was I guess my boyfriend, or you can say somebody. I didn't have anybody, so it was I had somebody, I didn't have to keep on running from people house to people house anymore. I didn't have to worry about where I was gonna sleep. I didn't have to stay high all night just to stay awake, so just in case if I didn't have anywhere to sleep, and when I was with him, it was he kind of took me in, and he made me feel really special. He made me feel really loved. He made me feel really wanted. It was the feeling I haven't felt in so many years. And he told me, I'm gonna go pick up this girl, and I'm gonna take her somewhere. So we pick her up and we drop her off somewhere. And I asked the question, I said, what is she doing? And he said, well, she's gonna go turn some dates. She's gonna go out on some dates. And I said, what do you mean? I was so curious. I kept on asking these questions. And at first he said, well, you don't need to worry about anything like that because, it's not like you're gonna do it anyway. So he said, well, you don't need to worry about anything like that. And I guess one day, that's when it all started for me. I don't know how it happened. I just remember getting out the car. I remember being with her. I remember listening to her teach me all of these things and tell me all of these things. And the first time I actually went with her inside of a car. And I was with her, and then it was okay, this is easy, this is fast, this is this is what it is, and this is how, I just started making a living, and how everything just went from me having nothing to having something. I was actually in San Pablo. Do you know where that Muslim bakery is? Yeah, I was actually there, like a couple of blocks away from there. And yeah, that's where I was, and that's where I actually got arrested. So the police come around, he pulls me over, and that was my first time. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know what to say. I was like terrified, because they've been teaching me all of these other things on what to do and all of this, but nobody really put me up on game on what to do when the police is here. They looked up my name and they found out that I was a runaway, because my mom had put out a missing child report on me. And they told my mom that they picked me up where, a lot of girls sell their body. And a couple of days later, I was out the house again. And then when I was gone, I called to some of my friends. That's when I met another guy. And the guy that I met was from San Francisco. He was actually a drug dealer. We popped a lot of pills, and I did a lot of crystal. I did a lot of cocaine. I was really, really high off of crystal. So half of the time when I was busting my tricks, I was high. I would stay up for 3 days high. I just remember one time he said something about going to Vegas. And all I remember was that I was in a Greyhound on my way to Vegas. And I remember just being high off of ecstasy. And we were on the Greyhound for like a day and a half or something, and I was asleep. I couldn't sleep. I was asleep. I couldn't sleep. My jaws are moving out of control, and here we are. I wake up, and I'm in Las Vegas. And then now I'm in a whole nother city in Las Vegas, and I have to do what I know to survive. The night that I got arrested, that's the first time I was raped. He picked me up off the street. We drove somewhere. And all I remember was him pulling out this knife and putting it to my neck and just telling me, whatever he said. And I was just sitting over there begging him not to kill me. His car didn't have any handles to get out of. So I was just like in this messed up position. What he did to me was just like, was something that I would never want to experience. And again, but instead of me thinking that way at the time, I wouldn't want to experience, for some reason, I still put myself back in that lifestyle and back in there for me to experience that. The girl that we went out there with, she had got arrested. And she told the police where we were. So since she told the police that, the police came to where our hotel was, and we all got arrested. They took me down to the station, and I will never forget this. The detective, or whatever he is, he pulled out this photo album of girls that were murdered, murdered in Las Vegas through prostitution. He showed me these horrific pictures of like one girl getting shot by a trick, and him leaving $3,000 by her dead body, from the first guy that left me out on the track for me to get arrested, from the guy that just brought me to Las Vegas for me to get raped. Like I trusted in these people for me to have security and safety, something that I've always longed for as a kid. They left me, they let me down, and that made me angry. At the time I was on probation, and they just booked me in, and I was there, and I spent my 13th birthday there in Las Vegas. And it was actually a lot of girls that were as young as me that were there for the same thing. After I turned 13, they sent me back. They got on a plane for the first time in my life. I was on a plane with shackles, I just remember looking out the plane window and just, leaving all the memories behind. I came to juvenile hall over here. My probation officer was really strict, so she had me on a schedule every day. Every time I got out of school, I had a program to go to, a drug program. I had to go to therapy. I had to, go to girls group. I had to go to Sage every Tuesday. Sage was crazy. The staff, they loved the girls. They loved their work. They were so passionate, so sincere. I mean, they brought us places. They brought me to see the snow for the first time. It was beautiful. It was beautiful, it was fun. I mean, because I got my childhood ripped away from me at such a young age, so for you to be with these, these staff, like your older sisters, right, that really cares about you. I mean, we're in the car, we're laughing, we're dancing, we're singing, we get to joke around. It was really, really fun. I think for me, it was the resources that I had growing up, dealing with Sage, going to the programs, the drug programs that my probation officer told me to go to. I think if it wasn't for that, I would probably still be in the lifestyle. So I would say for the younger girls that, take the resources that's there. If there's a counselor that say, hey, go to therapy, try it out. I mean, I go to therapy every week. I think everybody needs therapy because, we all might not go through the same things in life, but we're all broken people. I made it out of there alive. I made it out of there. And I think me knowing that I made it out of there and knowing that I am a survivor, that's what keeps me going on why I don't want to go back in that lifestyle. I am in school right now. I'm finishing up my GED. I'm gonna start City College in the fall. I mean, when I leave out of here and I'm sitting in my car and I'm driving, I have to sit with my emotions. I have to sit with my feelings. I have to sit with my memories. And it's always gonna haunt you, but that's why I do see a therapist. That's why I love talking about what I've been through, because it helps the healing. Because a lot of people are afraid to tell their story. A lot of people are afraid to talk, because like I said, it's a lot of shame, a lot of guilt. You don't want anybody to judge you, you don't want anybody to look at you different or anything. But with me, I think the more and more I talk about it, the more and more it helps me.